Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot believe what I have here. You cannot believe what I have here. I've got an email to Apostle Talent Farai Chiwenga, which I'm copied to as well, and a number of journalists, vakakopwa, nema media house, my newspaper, they've been copied to this email as well. And supposedly, email iyi iri kubva kuna Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. I'm still verifying kuti the Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa here or not, but I am 99.9% sure kuti this letter is from Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. Of course, I've reached out to the spokesperson weku INZWAI and I have not received a response as yet, but I am convinced with this Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa and is responding to Apostle Talent Farai Chiwenga. This is the first ever Kunzwa response. This is the first time, and this must be true. Kana isiri kubva Prophet Makandiwa ndopata kuisaka 0.001% probability, but I'm 99.9% sure that this is from Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. And hey, the contents of this letter. So I'm going to read it to you. It reads, "To untalented Chiwenga, my name is Emmanuel Makandiwa, a man you always prayed and wished that one day he would respond to you by mentioning your name, even desiring that I even insult you publicly just to make you relevant. Well, let me say God answers prayers in so many ways, and I hope this letter serves a purpose you so much desired for a greater part of your life. I have several reasons for not responding in video to your insults, the same reasons why even all the victims of your insults have not responded to you. However, I am responding to you now in writing simply to show you reasons why everyone has no interest in responding, and I realized I am the only one generous enough to share in detail how much the community views you. Personally, I understand the reasons behind your mental affliction, and not many people know this except for the signs that they see on you. You know that you stopped taking your medication all in the name of faith, and you are aware that this is not an insult. Anyway, the first reason why I never responded in a period over a decade is that I am a born again, and you know this is an experience you are yet to go through. Salvation should be the starting point, then everything in the Bible can be debated. What doctrine do you know? Can you compare the doctrine of tithe to your bizarre doctrines that sex with your wife's sister is not adultery, and sex with your boys is not homosexuality, because they are also at the same time girls like their mother who is both? Yeah. Do I personally have a doctrine like sleeping with any woman in search of a son is not adultery? Do I sleep with all my related widows simply to buy them groceries after the death of their husbands? Does assisting widows qualify you for sex with them? How many times did your late wife pack her bags and left based on these abusive doctrines, only for you to send your elders to negotiate and bring her back? By the way, your elders will soon face the wrath of the Lord due to such heinous acts of arranging underage girls for you and even silencing them. Just watch the space. Secondly, in terms of debate with only me that you keep crying for, I understand your desire to sit and mingle with normal civilized people to sanitize your corrupted gene. Unfortunately, you are not fit to sit at any gathering of people, even of average minds, except those in your church. In terms of theological qualifications and certification, you are not qualified to argue with me in your entire lifetime. Unfortunately, you keep rejecting boys of your age that offer themselves to you for debate. Should the government decide to enact regulations that no church shall be led by an uneducated founder, your ministry shall become an illegal operation, and I would even buy all your few chairs on auction for my village choir. You may argue all you want that theological education has no bearing on a man's calling, but how many professional trained pastors speak like you do? You not only show lack of training, but also show that you are not raised properly. A simple presence of a parent will leave a child with a bit of values and respect for the elders. If not, then salvation should compensate for the child neglect. Let me at this point state facts in point form, lest you think that the purpose of the letter is to undermine you. Number 1. Have you ever wondered why even ZANU-PF and politicians that you insult every day have not taken your life, contrary to the lies that you peddle? It is because no one in his normal state takes you serious. Your incoherence reveals overwhelming signs of severe bipolar. Before this offends you, take time and listen to all your teachings from the beginning and tell me if you are not preaching and living the opposite of that now. Is this now why all your old members have left you? Number 2, declare to the public what sin you don't commit. Your strategy is always to rise to prominence by insulting what was and will always be better than you. Number 3, you always lie against the government because there's never been any single assassination attempt on your life that you always claim to have escaped. Instead, every single person who has seen you driving knows that you just can't drive. Did you hear how stupid you sounded? That is number 4. Narrating that at an accident scene, your leader dying next to you advised you not to mention your name because the CIO guys were present, and if they knew your name, they were going to finish you off. Really? The entire intelligence unit comes after you causing an accident without knowing who you are? And just because you did not mention your name, they would have recognized you and finished you off. Are you even okay, talent? Do you even know the meaning of a government coming after you? You asked that the War Church do a Chiwenga Life Matters campaign. A Chiwenga who said, I'm not afraid of anyone to come and kill me. Number 5, on the accident scene, you told the world that the entire government came prepared for a head-on collision with you, using a very small car against your SUV. Above all, the driver had a female passenger and a lawyer just to come and kill you in a head collision, while at the same time confessing that you yourself, you decided to hit them head-on. Come on. These are too many reasons on one person why people feel shy to respond or even sit and discuss the Bible with you, because you make it clear that you are challenged. Tell me one serious person that has ever responded to you with a video. I mean, just one serious person. Rather, out of love, I advise you to stop driving and allow someone else to always drive you. People around you and even your late wife would always advise on the same matter, but you would give them a deaf ear. You listen to no one. Number 7, if I were a member of your church, I would sit around a fire with my family and have a discussion concerning our Jesus Revelation Transgender Ministries that always review Makandiwa to us. We would ask ourselves golden questions like, A, not even one passenger in our apostle's car has ever reached the destination while apostle is the one who is driving. This is just a vehicle with just a few passengers. But isn't the church too big for him to drive if he can't drive a normal vehicle? B, if our apostle, who is not a prophet, yet prophetically sees 2 coffins of politicians and notices that the year is ending without a fulfillment of that prophecy, he then goes on to fulfill it by himself by bringing himself 2 coffins from one accident, and a few months later, another 3rd coffin from another accident. Isn't that suspicious? C, So if our apostle is not cursed for cursing other men of God, so what is a curse then? What's a bigger case than having everyone around you dying except you? D. If joining his vehicle means that you will die, how much more for joining his church if with a simple car your arrival is not guaranteed? How about a church as a vehicle which is destined for heaven? Doesn't a car have less gears compared to the scriptures of the Bible? E. If Makandiwa is wrong for taking tithes, should we then choose one that takes lives? And again, do we not demand even more than tithe in Jesus' Revelation Church? F. Our apostle always portrays fakery saying, people come and kill me, and I'm always ready to die for this gospel. And when the people come, they find him gone and hiding. Is that wisdom again? G. I would ask my children, are we safe? Can I start calling my beautiful daughter Brother Rejoice? H. Talent says Makandiwa's followers are fools and stupid, yet Makandiwa would not sleep with these foolish church members in trying to verify their faith and honor for him. Who is stupid here in these two churches? The whole Pastor Baloy tells the church that Apostle, our mother, had set a trap for you. So Satan anozoitei. How many has Makandiwa sexually abused in testing their faith, and yet biblical tithe has become an issue that Makandiwa should come for a discussion? Even other teachings of Makandiwa that he criticizes, he never quoted them correctly. He misquotes them deliberately and creates loopholes to justify corrections, and he cries foul when his own sermons are summarized. I. Did our apostle 100 times not advise Makandiwa that the church is for preaching the cross only? And if it is about business and money, its members should enroll with a secular business institution like a university or something of that sort, and do not do it in the church. Do we now not have money issues and business officially in the church? Is even Makandiwa stealing and deceiving at that level, yet our untalented Chiwenga insults and harasses members for money offerings? Who has a record of stealing here? Was our apostle not arrested twice during primary school and released on underage conditions? Was he not dismissed and asked to resign from RBZ as a postman for opening packages? Where else do they take money in church more than in Jesus' Revelation Ministries? J. Who is more heretic? Makandiwa, a real man for calling himself a father, and our apostle Talent for being a transgender mother. We all know motherhood can be used in symbolic terms, but that's not the case with our apostle. We will actually review more. We will review more. K. When our mother apostle refuses to debate with a Seventh-day Adventist, citing that its founder is a woman called Ellen G. White, and that a woman cannot preach, so is our mother a man. Is our mother a man? And is our man a mother? Was Ellen G. White not a mother preacher like our mother? What kind of a confused cult is this? We all know you can defeat that said evangelist in a debate. Let me read this again. We all know that you can defeat that said evangelist in a debate. And the said evangelist, SDA said evangelist. As a pit bull with emotions, a pit bull is always driven by their low IQ. Anyone smart should not debate scriptures with a man whose entire life is in violation of scripture. If Makandiwa will ever quote scriptures talking to you, he will not be doing it for you, but for the public. I wonder, my children, how did we as members of Makandiwa, running in trying to save our money, ended up to a man who is called a mother, who calls beautiful innocent girls brothers, and more than tithes he demands? L. Should even Makandiwa sit on the same chair with a man or a woman who calls himself our mother, who is not his wife. And debate Bible doctrine, we don't think so. Our untalented have fully defined what cultism is all about. Let me read on. This is a very long letter. So talent, I'll keep writing and helping you when necessary. And I know you will come out as usual with your insults. So far, no one has ever mentioned your name and you kept quiet, no matter how small the person is, which is a sign that you are not as strong as you portray. You do 2 hours live videos responding to insignificant critics and telling your viewers you are too big to respond to puppies. You are so fearful. You insult people to keep them away from discovering that you are too weak and feminine. You always cry foul at simple criticism. So when will you ever replace people like me? Quite for decades, just watching you contradict yourself. Anyway, ingoti bufu this time. I will dedicate myself to helping you, my sister. Anyway, ingoti bufu this time. I will dedicate myself to helping you, my sister. I've done this not really caring much about you, but love for your innocent members. Your people deserve better. If any of them escaped preachers like us, why should they experience the worst in your church? They all have one question. Was Makandiwa not a saint after all? Was this not just an insult strategy to rise to prominence? So far, you have revealed me to them, and I think it's now time for you to get to Jesus now. If you think it's Jesus that you are known for preaching, then stop taking alcohol and illegal drugs. This can help your situation. Ask people what they really know you about. Take me out of your preaching and people will forget you. You have no gospel, no debate. You have nothing to talk about. You have no moral standing to debate with me. You don't know the Bible. You are a danger to families. Which man of God teaches that a man can be married to 4 wives and still call it one marriage? Who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? Can such a man of God criticize spiritual fatherhood? Even us who started before you, we are yet to teach that a father in a home must have a big wooden chair with a rod. And he sits every day. This is just a sangoma stuff. You are just a control freak. Who teaches those things as doctrine? As I have said, you are a control freak. You can't even put a microphone down, even on your own wedding. Those are really psychiatric actions. Someone needs to protect you. Someone needs to protect the church from you before it's too late. Aunzwe kunyarawo here kusekwa nechechi yese uchinzi amai nemukadzi. Just when you thought vechechi yako vakanzwisa doctrine yako and they loved to scorn you, this means even nature is against your teachings. I will leave you for now, but please always try to remember that it's Jesus Revelation Ministries. I know it's hard to remember, but try to start with the basics like a member of your church should not have their loyalty tested sexually, whether that member is male or a female. An elder is your father or a mother, and you have to honor him or her. A man is not a woman. A woman is not a man. A sister is not a brother. A Makandiwa is your mentor who could not accept you as a spiritual daughter. So check everything around you is actually modeled around your obsession for him. Away from his light, you are not recognizable. You wish you were him, but unfortunately, Makandiwa is a man in gender first. Then Makandiwa is born again, literally, and cultured in all manner. Follow these steps until you get to start revealing who Jesus is. So let's begin now, and I'll be monitoring your progress. Remember, this is just a letter and no evidence as yet. So somebody inopera ichiti ziva kuti ingoti tsamba tisati akubudisa evidence itoripo apa tinomboita zvetsamba maallegation aripo esaya evidence inokwanisa kuboda. Well, such a long, detailed letter, and I'm fully convinced that this Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa. Yeah. I'm going to put this letter in the comment section as well for those who want to read it without reading tones. I'm going to put a separate post for it. But tell me what you really think about this, and I don't have much to say about it.